Well, these days what's normal for teenagers is, do the whole MySpace thing, smoke weed, get drunk, have fun, A lot of teenagers aren't really concerned with education, They're just concerned with, living in the moment, which can be good, As a normal teenager, you should experience that sort of thing.
So, first off, what is really your definition of what normal is?
I think it's the generic personality that's perpetuated by the mainstream culture and media to kind of portray and reflect a certain way of thinking and living and imagining.
I guess I've heard people say, if you're a teenager, you gotta be really social. If you're not social, and if you're reclusive and you stay to yourself a lot, you're not normal. So by people's standards, a teenager should be very social and have a lot of friends and all that.
Do you think you're normal?
I don't think there's such thing as a quote-unquote normal. To a certain extent, I guess. Yeah, sure, why not?
Normal. Well, I think kind of everything is normal, and at the same time everything is abnormal.
Insincerity. If someone asks you how your day's been, I think very seldomly do they want a good, genuine answer to that. It's just the kind of shit we say for the sake of making conversation, shit we say to be pleasant, and I think the norm is to just kind of go through the motions, offer whatever generic response the other person's expecting to hear.
I guess what's normal for people my age, more or less, it's pretty broad and mellow. It's not really, it's hard to say what's normal, because I don't consider myself normal, so,
If you come from, a broken home or whatever, and your parents beat you or something, that's normal for you just because chances are you haven't really known anything else, whereas somebody else who comes from a functioning family would, that would be shocking and disturbing and horrifying and obviously not normal by any means.
Well, it's kind of society we live in, you can, in the art world, for example. Well, you're not the one that makes yourself successful. You work hard, but it's, the critics and the people who own the art museums, they're the ones who are going to decide whether your work is good enough to put in their museums. So, I just think in our society we have to work to please others and not just ourselves, to be successful in our society.
It's really a bummer.
It is a bummer.
Well, insecurity, I guess, is a human emotion, natural. So they're not taught insecurity. They don't learn it. That's a natural feeling. Whether people come in high school and that's they're teenagers and that's when they're most insecure and they want to be accepted. If they don't have anybody to be accepted by, that's pretty normal to try to transform yourself by other people's standards.
Go back, and we can't really just come to a conclusion, come to an answer, because there's no distinguishable answer. We have to keep on asking questions. So I feel like shit, and I don't live up to I don't live up to my own personal expectations. But then when you think about it, where did those expectations come from?
Everything from, when you're a little kid, you're going into middle school and you're worried about how people think of you, or if you're a teenager and you're making decisions as how you're going to live your adulthood and go on with things.
And of course there are exceptions to this. There are people I can talk to on a more human level, but I think it's normal to kind of bullshit. I think it's normal to say what the other person wants to hear rather than what the genuine truth is.
It's kind of, it's ironic because you're listening to other people and you're trying to please other people to please yourself. It's weird, but I'm not sure. I want to say it's totally normal because you're kind of, denying your own mindset of what you want.
I know people that have to be in a relationship to feel that they are needed, and it kind of makes them feel good about themselves, which I understand that, but I think that you can't be comfortable in a relationship unless you're comfortable with yourself first.
You're a people pleaser, nice guy or sweetheart, or difficult and obnoxious. I mean, this is kind of like, I feel like I'm kind of copping out by answering this way, but I mean, isn't everyone to some extent? I know that I gravitate between extremes.
Hey, Ken, what kind of sound effects do you think this will make?